take my
Sheriff.
own duty I have today. Good morning, everyone. I'm Hillsborough County Sheriff Chad Cronister, and it's a pleasure to welcome all of you to today's press conference. I have the privilege of introducing our Attorney General, Ashley Moody. General Moody has remained steadfast in her support of law enforcement, always doing whatever it takes to help us keep our Florida communities safe. Today's announcement only underscores her commitment to public safety. Welcome to the podium, Attorney General Ashley Moody.
Thank you, and I'm sorry I tried to usurp that podium so quickly. I appreciate you guys joining us today. This is a fun announcement, and we think it is so important not just for the Tampa Bay area, but for the entire state of Florida. And before we begin, Sheriff needs no introduction. Chad Cronister, the Hillsborough County Sheriff, has allowed us to be here today to make this announcement, and we thank him. We also have with us the Tampa International Airport Chief of Police, Charlie Vasquez. He is also the Vice President for the Florida Police Chiefs Association. Hernando County Sheriff and Florida Sheriff's Association President Al Nienhuis. Tampa Police Department Interim Chief of Police Lee Burkhall. Temple Terrace Police Department Chief of Police Kenneth Albano. And we have with us some special guests today, and I will introduce those guests to you in a moment. But certainly you are our guests, and we are so grateful that you are willing to cover what Florida gets right, and that is supporting law and order and supporting those who selflessly, bravely sign up to fill these important positions. Officers, deputies from around the nation are choosing Florida for their new home. In fact, just in the past year, more than 530 officers from 48 states have relocated to the great state of Florida. In September of 2022, the Braden Police Department hired some of these officers. They made the trip here today because they're so happy about their decision to move to Florida. Officer Rod Dozier and Officer Kevin Williams are with us today. One from New York, one from Mississippi. Officer Williams moved from New York City, where he served nearly 20 years as a first responder. Fed up with that bureaucracy and lack of support from leadership, he brought his talents to Florida, and we're so glad that he did. Officer Williams' entire family, his children, his wife, made the move here, chose Florida as their new home, and he was able to use the law enforcement recruitment bonus to help pay for that move. I am also grateful to Officer Dozier, who made this brave decision, as well as two brand new Hillsborough County deputies, Nicole Hazena and Ashley Baker, both with us today. I like to call them our newest sheroes. Today is their first day as deputies with the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Department. We're so grateful that you joined us today. More so, we're grateful that you chose Florida as your new home. We are supporting the mass exodus of deputies and officers in other states moving to Florida. We want that to happen. Florida is not immune from the pressures law enforcement is facing, the vacancy challenges in law enforcement around the nation. We're not immune. But we are doing everything in our power to show officers, to show deputies that we have their backs. And not only are we going to back that up, and I'm so grateful to our governor and legislative leaders who came up with the $5,000 signing bonus, the training stipend, the program to help first responders purchase homes within the communities that they served, raises for our officers. I'm so grateful we have that. But more importantly than money and training and help buying a home, officers that move here know that our leaders will do everything in our power to support them in the profession that they love, to support them when they go out and rush into dangerous situations and put their safety behind ours, that we will have their back. We stand up for the rule of law, and we stand up for prosecuting criminals that make our communities less safe. And sadly, this is not the case in other parts of the country. I could rattle off cities all day long standing here, but San Francisco, Chicago, Portland, not only do the residents not feel safe, their businesses are leaving in droves. en masse because they do not feel like they are protected and that those that have signed up to protect them are given the support and the resources to do their jobs. Portland is a great example. It was once considered the crown jewel of the West Coast. Now people say it is a hollowed out shell. They had thousands of businesses leave just in the last year. Many posted signs on the windows that said it was because of crime and their employees didn't feel safe. We will not allow that to happen here in Florida. And that is what brings us here today. I am surrounded by so many great law enforcement leaders from the Florida Sheriff's Association, the Florida Police Chiefs Association, and they are standing with me saying, we want you. If you are an officer in another state, having an inkling that you might want to uproot your family and take that important move to another state, we want you to do that. And we want to make it as easy as possible. So tomorrow, we are having a law enforcement virtual job fair. It will take place from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m., and we will be reaching out to officers not only within our own state, but nationwide, who may not feel supported by their political leadership. The virtual law enforcement job fair will target cities like Chicago, where they just elected a defund the police mayor, and New York, where a DA there wants to do so many other things besides prosecuting repeat violent offenders. Officers that are sick and tired of political games should consider moving here to Florida, where we are seeing our ranks grow. We've had more than 1,000 officers join agencies statewide since 2022, with more than half of these coming from out of state. Florida is the fastest growing state in the nation for a reason. We are setting record numbers in tourism, and businesses are relocating here. We will need more officers to support this growth. And this is an exciting, positive event today. We want this to be about those answering a call to serve in a way that is bigger than themselves. People that want to serve as guardians and protectors of their communities. We want them to be Floridians. But we also want those areas in other parts of this nation to be aware. We're targeting your cities for your officers. If you're not supporting them, if you're not funding them, if you're not telling them that you have their backs, if you're not telling them that law enforcement and the rule of law is quintessential to a stable, civilized society, we're going to target them to relocate to Florida, and that's what we're doing here today. If you're going to score political points at the expense of these brave men and women, Florida will be the beneficiary. And we invite them all to consider relocating to Florida, where we will give you a signing bonus. We will help you pay for your training. We will help you buy a home and live in the community that you love. Florida will have your back. Florida will support you. I hope that you will consider becoming a Florida hero. And while tomorrow's job fair event is certainly important and exciting, if you can't make the virtual job fair tomorrow, we have a program called beafloridahero.com. You can go online, search any area of the state, and it'll tell you every single state, county, and municipal law enforcement opportunity in our state. beafloridahero.com. So without further ado, I want to bring up the brave souls that wear the badge to speak a little bit more about this important event tomorrow, and we will hear from Tampa International Airport Chief Charlie Vasquez.
Thank you, General Moody. Thank you, Sheriff Cronster, for your hospitality and your partnership in the Tampa Bay area that makes this a very vibrant and safe place to live and work. Thank you, Sheriff Ninehouse, for your partnership with the Florida Sheriff's Association. And most of all, thank you, Attorney General Ashley Moody, for all you do for law enforcement. You do more than words. You do actions. Today is an action that you're taking to make this Florida a safer place to live. And I want to personally thank you for all the work you do with officer wellness in the state of Florida. As you can see, Florida law enforcement is a team effort, and we're excited to announce tomorrow's virtual job fair where over 50 law enforcement agencies from across Florida will be waiting to speak to you and welcome you to the team. Whether you're currently a sworn officer in another state or you live in Florida and you're considering a career in law enforcement, this virtual job fair is for you. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Come be a real hero in a state that supports their law enforcement. If you're looking for a career that's meaningful and engaging, law enforcement may be the career for you. You will join one of the greatest teams of law enforcement. You'll be part of the greatest generation of law enforcement that this nation's ever known. Our officers today are better trained, better equipped, better educated, more diverse, and they're held more accountable than ever before, especially in Florida where you're appreciated. You'll build strong relationships with local residents and business owners, and you'll work closely with your colleagues to protect and serve and make long-time, meaningful relationships. So I encourage you to attend our virtual job fair tomorrow by visiting the Florida Police Chiefs Association website at fpca.com. That's the Florida Police Chiefs Association website, fpca.com, or the Florida Sheriff's Association website at flsheriffs.org. And one last request. As a veteran, I implore my fellow veterans to attend the job fair, look into Florida law enforcement. You've been a hero for a long time. Continue to be a hero. Please come and serve. Thank you.
Good morning. Again, I'm Hernando County Sheriff Al Nienhuis, and I'm this year's president of the Florida Sheriff's Association. And first and foremost, again, Sheriff Chronister, thank you for your hospitality. General Moody, you and the governor are unequivocal in your support of law enforcement, and we certainly appreciate that, as well as the other cabinet members. We have a tremendous amount of support in Florida, and it doesn't matter whether somebody wants to work in Key West or in Jacksonville or Escambia. There are a diverse number of law enforcement communities to work in for anybody who may be interested in coming to Florida to help keep their community safe. There is a reason, as General Moody said, that people are flocking to Florida. It's our leadership in the state, it's our weather, and as she said, it's the rule of law being upheld in our communities and doing our absolute best to keep those communities safe. One thing that really was kind of hinted at, but I think it's also important, it's also a good operational thing if you're running a law enforcement agency to support those people that you're trying to recruit. Because the more people you recruit, the higher bar you can have for those people who are going to be working in law enforcement. And you're able to hire those people that are empathetic, that are dedicated, that are professional, that are the best of the best. So the person working alongside you, you can trust to do the right thing even when nobody's looking. And I think that's the reason that Florida law enforcement is so successful when some other areas that are less supportive of law enforcement may not be as successful, because those people that are the best and the brightest certainly can and will find jobs elsewhere. And as the General said, Florida will welcome those people that are the best of the best with open arms, because we need good law enforcement. There are tremendous opportunities here, regardless of what an individual wants to do in their career, whether they want to specialize or whether they want to go into leadership and supervision. There are opportunities in this state like none other. So as the chief said, you can go to the Florida Chiefs of Police Association website or the Florida Sheriff's Association website, get more information. And again, the virtual job fair will be noon to 3 Eastern Standard Time for our friends that may be in California. Obviously, there's going to be a 3-hour difference there, so make sure you tune in between noon and 3 Eastern Standard Time at either one of those websites. You can get a link. So again, I want to thank our media partners for putting the word out, both in Florida and nationwide. And again, I want to thank General Moody and our great Governor, Ron DeSantis, for the support of law enforcement. It certainly is noticed and appreciated. Thank you, General.
All right, so to recap, tomorrow, 12 to 3, law enforcement virtual job fair. We want folks from around the nation. If you are interested in relocating to Florida, please go to the website of the Florida Chiefs of Police or the Florida Sheriff's Association. Right on there, it is very easy to register, and there are people standing by to give you more information. And just as a last note, I will tell you from my travels around Florida and meeting with folks in law enforcement, from airport police to university police, municipal police officers, county sheriff's deputies, statewide FDLE special agents or troopers, I am never ever surprised anymore at the backgrounds of folks that have chosen and felt called and pulled into law enforcement. From a mother who has raised her children and decided she wanted to start a new career and go into law enforcement and put herself through training, to an agent that was working in a cafeteria and engaged with law enforcement on a daily basis as they came in, was so impressed with their character and their determination to protect their communities, she put herself into an academy and became a law enforcement officer. This is an incredible, noble profession. The bonds between the men and women who go into this profession are incredibly strong. They are like family. They are with each other for their lifetimes. It is a noble pursuit, and even if you are not currently an officer, I hope that you will consider contributing and becoming a guardian of our communities and making Florida a stronger and safer state. We'd be happy to take any questions you might have at this time.
Officers or deputies, congratulations. Just wondering if either of you or either of you would like to step up and just let us know about your decision-making process and coming to this area, to Tampa Bay, and let us know, why you chose this community and what the thought process was.
I'll open it up to any of the four. Anyone?
If you could give your name, that would be wonderful.
Where am I from?
This is easy compared to your service in the military.
I'm Deputy Baker. Today's our first day in field training. We graduated last week from the pre-cert class. I'm from Jacksonville, North Carolina. I was a Marine there, stationed there. I was a police officer for a little over 6 years. Last couple years I was a detective. We had it really good there, but yeah, I don't think anything compares to Florida. So my husband and I packed up our kids and relocated and started all over here.
Any particular reason as to why you chose Florida, this particular community?
I was born in Sarasota, and I joined the Marine Corps right after high school. So I've been gone for 11 years. And then after I got out of the Marine Corps and stayed in North Carolina, it was a constant battle between loving that agency, loving the area. Eastern North Carolina is not like the other areas. However, Florida's home. We have an amazing governor here, and the support here. So it was an easy decision to come home.
I think we have one more first day deputy. Wants this?
If you could just give us your name.
Oh, go ahead.
It's Ashley Baker,
ASH.
Commissary, yeah.
Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nicole Hagenow. I was born and raised Long Island, New York. For 30 years, I worked in the New York City Police Department for 6 years. I did 4 years as a patrol officer, 2 years as a youth officer. I really just wanted to come down for some better weather. Obviously, the governor and this is such a great department here as well. Yeah, I was very excited to visit the area. I visited, I absolutely loved it. I had a friend who was in the department. She just talked so highly of it. And now just being in this department, I could see why. Very lucky to be here and very happy.
Talk about the climate in New York and what maybe sparked that decision to begin to look elsewhere.
Yeah, so I worked for 4 years, like I said, as a patrol officer. I did overnights, so it was very cold. I did the New Year's Eve detail twice. I think my first year doing it, it was like -5 degrees, standing outside for like 20 hours. I'm like, yeah, this isn't for me. So came down here and just seeing palm trees every day and the sunshine, and even just the people I've come in contact with have just been so nice and friendly, whether they were with the department or just the community.
Can you spell out your first and last name?
First name Nicole, last name Hagenow, Hagenah.
Not sure which sheriff would want to answer this, but I'd just be curious. Can you just talk about what it's like recruiting officers and deputies these days? How difficult or challenging it is, or not? It's not, but I'm curious to know.
It is a challenge if you have your standards high. And I think most law enforcement agencies, if not all in the state of Florida, I think it's, as I said earlier, it's one of the reasons I think Florida has fewer problems on average than a lot of the other areas in the country, is because our standards are very high. And that's one reason why we're doing the virtual job fair. And it's not just for the citizens and for the leaders in the law enforcement agency, it's for the people working the street too. You want to have somebody next to you that you know is going to do the right thing, and they're going to have that bravery and that empathy and all those things that make up a good law enforcement professional. And so it is a challenge. In my agency, for example, we a couple years ago, just before COVID, we did a study, about 2,000 applications total. That's for all positions. And about 95% of them don't make it through the background. So Human Resources has to go through a lot of individuals to get those people that meet our high standards. And I think, Sheriff Chronister is the same way. We only hire the best of the best. So it is a challenge. And that's why I appreciate General Moody helping us get the word out, because the more people we have apply, we can maintain those high standards.
Given what officers encounter and deputies encounter out there, obviously not new to the profession, has that changed? Is it more difficult than it used to be to convince somebody to become a police officer or deputy?
Fortunately, I think, as you heard in Florida, whether you're a brand new deputy, you've only been here a few days, or whether you're a sheriff, we are very blessed to live in Florida. Citizens, I think if you're wearing a uniform, you cannot go into any establishment without 3 or 4 people stopping you and saying thank you for your service. So the citizens of Florida appreciate their law enforcement community, and that makes it 1,000 times easier to deal with those very difficult and emotional situations we have to deal with, whether it's it's Child Abuse Awareness Month, and unfortunately we deal with that more than most people would know, and sometimes very young children, and it takes an emotional toll on you. And I couldn't imagine doing this job without the support of our community. And so that is it is a difficult job, but it's made easier with the support from, as I said, the governor, the attorney general, all the way down to the citizen you meet in the convenience store. And so it is a tough job, and that's why we have to pick the best of the best, because a lesser person will not react appropriately to that stress. And we certainly want to do everything we can to mitigate that. So.
Sheriff, what about the citizens from these cities that move down here because they feel safer in your county and other counties, as opposed to these big cities?
Right. Well, I think it's as we said, I think it's about 1,000 people a day. Does that sound about right? That are coming to Florida. 1,000 people are coming to Florida a day for a reason, and I can tell you that if you have children in school, schools are very important, but safety is important to everybody, whether you have children in schools or not. And so we run into people all the time that say, because of the political environment in a particular area or the lack of support for the rule of law, we just did not feel comfortable there, and we wanted to come to Florida, where we knew that although law enforcement's not perfect, we can't catch everybody. We have to have the rule of law requires us to go through certain hurdles to prosecute somebody, but we do a very good job of catching bad people and putting them in jail, and I think that the good people appreciate that.
Thank you guys for being here. As you know, we had these folks all over the nation trying to recruit in New York and Chicago and sending deputies everywhere. The virtual job fair will make this available to everyone without these folks having to go to these other states. So you're helping us recruit great law enforcement men and women, and we're so grateful that you were here today to help us do that. Appreciate it.